Alrighty, yo, what is up, Knights? Aegis Rick here, back with some more DFO Blitz, this time on my secret agent. Now guys, this is going to be like a quick run or series of the agent classes. I'll do the first two now since I've gotten them pretty decently geared. As you guys can see, I did farm a full Dusky set and a Great Glory. I'm currently getting my last piece. Actually, I'm wearing all the pieces that I suggest getting right now. Okay, so get your, 6-piece set, whatever it is. Maybe you get a 5-piece set if you go Sea God or whatever. Go Gracia if you want. I mean, a lot of people are just going to sit here and tell you which ones to get. Get a set, first of all. And then get your Great Glory piece, which is great for a Smash and Crit mod. And then finally get your Sea God piece, which is the last piece that I'm farming. After which I get that. I'm probably not going to be doing this dungeon anymore because it's, I've gotten all the items that I want. But you can tell I'm not wearing any accessories right now. That's because I'm farming them in a different area. We'll finish off the video in, Pandemonium when we're actually farming that kind of stuff. But, guys, this is the secret agent. Now, the thing about the secret agent is, I have like a story past with this guy. When I first made him, I thought he was going to be the most awesome character. And then after I got him to max level and I got my troubleshooter to max level, I felt like really bad about both of them. Like I felt like they weren't very fun. And honestly, that sentiment hasn't changed too much. I don't feel like this guy is as bad. He's, I mentioned it in the recap video or the update video that this guy plays a lot like Ranger in that he requires him to get a lot of crits. This guy does a lot of damage, and I know I'm not wearing a couple pieces of gear, but despite that, if I crit on the hits that I am doing, it's going to do a lot of damage. He's just like Ranger where crit is, he gets a lot of benefit for crit, so you need to make sure that if you're playing this character at a high level, you got to make sure you have 100% crit, like every class in the game, but this guy more specifically just because of that. Took out Gruff in a couple hits. That's how strong this guy is if you're able to crit. So, and same thing with this. I mean, you're going to notice the one thing about this guy, unlike Michael, I just wrecked this guy. Unlike most characters, he is very single target based. He does have a few wider range skills, but for the most part, this guy heavily specializes on dispatching the mini bosses, which is a great idea, which is kind of why I wanted to show this dungeon, is because there's a lot of mini bosses in every room, and he has a little target over his head, right? So you can see I have like a teleporting move that allows me to teleport to the boss whenever, automatically, and I get to target the boss with any of my skills. Like my gun will target the boss in particular. I think I get extra damage against the boss, and just a ton of single target damage. I mean, you can kind of see I'm gonna kill this guy in like one combo. Obviously this is just ancient dungeon, so it's not a big deal, but you can imagine this kind of stuff is it's not normal for most classes in the game. Most classes are just kind of like they have a good slew of AoE and single target damage, where this guy is much more leaning towards the single target damage. Not saying he doesn't have AoE, but like I said, the focus is get one shot, kind of deal. The teleporting thing is kind of his main gimmick, and this is part of the reason why I don't I don't know about this guy, guys. Two different things right there. This gun right here is the one that I'm shooting him with beforehand. Is like this complete massive AoE. If they have that little blinking target on them, the gun hits, and then it's something that well, let's see if I can kill this guy. Yeah, didn't even need my awakening. It's something that kind of helps out in the fact that he has pretty weak AoE, and it's hard to show in this dungeon. We'll show more when we do the regular dungeons, but the fact that his AoE is a little bit lacking, aside from this move, which is crazy, he gets like a really cheap gun, which I'll just show you guys right here. This gun hits like from a mile away on like, you don't have to aim it. He's shooting a real gun. Unlike most gun characters in the game who can only shoot straight, this guy's like, wait, hold on a second. Let me actually shoot in a different direction. So, his IQ is a little bit higher than most people in this game. Most characters in this game, I should say. I love that. I love that damage amp that he gets against bosses and stuff like that, which obviously makes him to be. There's a reason why in Korea this guy is one of the highest tier deeps, you know, because of the damage amp that he gets against bosses, the combos that he gets against bosses. It's hard for me to show that right now because, you know, people are dying in one hit, but this shadow step right here is his main forte. It allows him to take his single target nature and kind of balance it against jumping to different enemies and dispatching them, you know, one at a time. It's not like a big AoE thing, like I said, it's not his focus, but that's kind of his call to fame, which we'll show off in a second. Make sure I pick up the quest before we go in here. Let's go ahead and go into Slayer. We're not scared. I should be. I don't have any accessories, but we're doing fine. Anyway, the events, as usual, have done a pretty good job at kind of catching us up with existing characters in the game. That's kind of one thing I praise Neopol on, is that their events usually do a really good job at that. You know, when your character, I know you might be like, look at this shit, by the way. Shit is so stupid. That is actually governed by the bullets that are on the right there. I have 2 bullets left. Then I have to recast the skill, but I get a whole magazine's worth, so I could just shoot everybody, dude. It's fucked up, man. Can't obviously do it forever, but you know, it's a great catalyst for casting your shadow step, which is this skill right here, and you could just jump around killing everybody. Obviously you don't want to do that all the time because you know, because like I said, it's a single target thing, and if there's a lot of enemies in the room, then you want to use moves that actually have AoE. But damn, dude, I'm getting juggled. All right, there you go. Rack them. Alright, anyway, as I was saying, I don't even know what I was saying. Who cares? Dude, he has 100 bars. That's so annoying. Oh man! Damn, that fucking killed him on Slayer difficulty. Usually I have trouble with that boss because they always go into Berserk mode, but there you can just see how strong even his 1A is against single target. It's killing people on Slayer difficulty. But yeah, I was talking about how Neopol's events have kind of balanced out the characters and allowed them to come back, in the sense that they haven't been out for as long, so it's kind of hard to. But I know people who are already like 12-12 on their secret agents. I'm like, dude, the class has not been out for that long and you already know you're going to be 12 out of 12 on this guy. And that's kind of why I hate messing with that skill, let me tell you. That's kind of my, you know, critique about this guy. I am surprised that people decided to 12-12 him automatically. They just knew that they were going to really like this character, and that is my, seriously, I've done it twice already. It's the thing I hate the most on this guy, is that he misses the shadow step sometimes for no fucking reason. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but like seriously, he just misses it for no reason. He just goes right through the guy. Anyway, I don't see this guy as being very special. That's what I'm getting at here. A lot of people, you know, I guess it's hard to say what their reasoning is for choosing a character, not even playing him for very long, and deciding, you know what, that's what I'm going to 12 out of 12. You know, it's just, what a leap. You know, doing 12 out of 12 is not an easy thing to do. And yes, most of them are already decked out and they have a ton of fragments and they just crafted that item. Their sets and stuff like that. I know a lot of people who could just craft a set if they wanted to, but the thing is, how do you know you want to until you've actually tried the class, which feels like a lot of times, or a lot of the things I've heard so far about this, people doing that is, you know, they knew they were going to like this guy, which after playing him, I don't know what's his, you know, his call to fame. A lot of the things about this guy really feel kind of bland, I guess I could say. Oh, shit. There's not really anything special to it. Sounds like it's great. Okay, 2A right here. I don't know, his 2A feels like a weird skill. I feel like it should have been his 1A or something like that. His 2A does this little eclipse thing that does a ton of multi-hit. It doesn't hold or anything like the 1A, but it does a lot of damage, which some people have attributed to being better in terms of damage, just because if you use it against an enemy who is like doing a whole bunch of counter hits, or doing an attack, this move will do a lot of counter hits and it will do even more damage, which is viable. huge AoE right there. So not gonna knock it for that, but anyway, look at that shit. Look at it. Why did it miss, dude? Why did it miss, dude? I was getting a little frustrated as to why I kept missing. I wanted to check that before I continued because it's something I had to deal with for the longer part of playing this character, but it is a romantic dash that is causing it. It looks like I'm casting the same skill when in fact I am actually casting a romantic dash. So a pro tip, lock that skill up if you're playing this character and you're using the space command for using the shadow step, because you're gonna keep casting romantic dash and you're gonna think you're missing when in fact you're not. So there you go. I solved the problem right there. If you're having that problem playing this character, which is not, it's not going to be very obvious at first, because you're going to be missing sometimes and other times you're going to be casting romantic dash. It's hard to tell. So anyway, problem solved. But anyway, guys, even yet, guys, the fact that this guy has the romantic dash and this gun makes it a deadly combination, but not a very interesting one. It's almost as if it's in autopilot. It's kind of playing itself. So those two kinds of things are not very I don't want to say intuitive. They're intuitive, but they're not very interesting. You know, I play a lot of characters who have a lot of different systems, and this one is just not very cool. You know, not very fun. I press a button and it shoots a guy, like guaranteed. I don't even have to aim the damn thing. And then I press space and then teleport to characters. I don't have any control over who it teleports to. Like I said, it's just not a very. It's a system. I'm not gonna say this guy doesn't have a system with the bullets and the jumping around, but he does not have. Oh shit! Well, we did miss with that, but 2A does connect. See how much damage it does. Didn't kill. So I have been a lot more impressed with the 1A damage. A lot more impressed, I should say. Damn, this guy is like not dying. I did a hell of a lot of damage with the with the gun there, dude. I shot him like 100 times. Okay. Well, that is the punishment for me missing that 1A, because I know the 1A damage is out of this world. I feel like the 1A does way more damage than the 2A. Some people have said otherwise, but man, every time I use the 2A, it's like they don't die. So anyway, we did kind of touch on the romantic dash. That is one thing that I do like about this character. Right there, you can see if I use it and I get hit during the animation, I get some iframe, and I don't get hit basically. So it's something that you don't normally see with a class in this game, because most of the time what you do instead of trying to dodge moves is you try to you know, super armor through them, which almost every character can do that. In fact, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say every character can do that to some extent, and it's just a better way. It keeps your offense going. It's generally can do quite a bit of damage. Your big high-level moves are usually moves that have super armor. So the whole concept of him dashing through attacks is just not realized really in this game. I don't think it's a type of game that can really, you know, it's not Dark Souls. This is very high octane, high speed game, and trying to keep the offense going is the main gimmick here. But you know, maybe you might prove me wrong. There might be some very specific situations where you want to try to use the iframe instead of trying to super armor, like, I don't know, against bosses or something, but I wouldn't risk it, yo. If you're going against Luke and you're like, yo, I'm gonna iframe through this Fool's attack, like, dude, you know, no other character has an iframe, so there's obviously ways to deal with it aside from using the iframe. So anyway, if you guys can come up with some unique situations where that is useful, I can't really think of them, but the main use of it you're actually gonna use it for is the fact that during any animation of your skill, you can cancel it with the romantic dash, and that ends the animation early. So I find that to be a whole lot more useful, just because there's a lot of situations where you're casting a skill but don't want to go through the whole animation. And I swear right there, if that would have crit, he would have died. So, like I said, this guy's just like Ranger. He's gonna have the same kind of. It's not a drawback. It's just kind of until you're at that point kind of thing. Your damage is going to be heavily neutered by sheer fact of you not having critting every hit. I mean, I'm talking about it's like double the damage whenever I crit. It's just crazy. His buff heavily relies on the crit. So, and I just used some big skills right there, and I missed with the So I can still miss with the shadow step. It's so annoying when you miss. Like, I don't understand why when you miss the shadow step, it goes on cooldown. Like, how come I don't get the count of the shadow step, you know? Because I can cast it up to 3 times, but only if the first time actually connects, which is, you know, you don't have that problem with Swiftmaster when he's dashing around using his sonic move. So I don't see why this guy has the limitation of him having to hit the first guy before he can, you know, get the other cast. So I've been playing too much interdimensional rift. I'm just walking over items. I'm not even bothering to pick them up. That's how it usually is in there. So, oh shit. All right, got that last hit in. Ton of AOE right here. Boom. Okay, for him not having very great AOEs, he does have one of the best AOEs right there. It is just like a coning range right there, and it hits from that. It hits everything in that cone. It's really a good move right there. I'm gonna use my 2-way here. Feeling it. Man, the 2-way doesn't have a lot of range either. It does have a few of these like bullets that go off to the side, so that's pretty cool. And a nice, decent grouping move. He also has one of the worst skills ever. Oh shit. Well, I'm not gonna have that for the boss. I don't even know why I tried to do that. He has this weird skill right here, this target detection. I think it's one of the worst skills in the whole game for its level range. I think it's a level 60 skill, and it has a cooldown of a level like 30 skill. It's like not good. You have like other skills that have lower cooldown than that. Man, get massively demolished. His other skills are really strong too. You know, you don't have to. Oh, he's not the type of guy that relies so heavily on his 1A. But then again, I have Dusky set, so that explains exactly why my 1A does a lot more damage. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. There was a little bit of Secret Agent. Like I said, you know, I was trying to allude to. I don't want to, you know, rip on this guy for too much, but he's very standard. Despite him having teleports, despite him having special damage against bosses, he's very cast skill, kind of cast and forget kind of skills. So he has a system. It's just not very. He's just very straightforward. What can I say? But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. That was Secret Agent. In the next video, you guys are going to check out the Troubleshooter, which is also surprisingly pretty geared, maybe even more so than this guy. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you nights later.